Muchachos y muchachas. By the way, if you like this look and the shawl I am wearing, you can get it at reddingboutique.com. Use my code Natalie30 for 30% off. So Anne Heche, this weird freak accident that happened on August 5th in Los Angeles, California, where I mean, it's a real freak, fiery car crash that happened. Ring videos, surveillance videos captured her zooming down high speed residential street, and eventually crashing into a home, in which resulted into a fiery crash. Now, the thing that happened after this is additionally peculiar, where the first responders, the EMTs, the firefighters that extracted her from this accident seem to be performing some weird protocols. I mean, just weird protocols that just don't seem normal. We're going to talk about that. And in saying that, that's already weird, right? That all this deserves examination. But what I'm going to rant about is the post details that are coming out of this incident. People are going viral with posts and with tweets talking about her last projects or supposed last projects. We're going to get into that because, like I said, we don't have to put any fluff on top of that. It's already weird. So with that being said, stay right there. We're going to go through it. I like to give a quick shout out and thank you to the sponsor of this channel and this video, Arctos by EasySummerCool.com. This is a unit that I have been using all summer long. This has kept me cool in my office as I mostly work here in my office studio. So with this, it is a 4-in-1 portable unit. It also filters the air and it saves you on your power bill because you don't have to power up your entire unit to keep you cool. You can get it at EasySummerCool.com. Okay, so let's talk about this and get it out the way before I go into the details of her accident and the peculiar protocols that the first responders took. I want to first address the post details that are coming out post her passing that are actually going more viral on social media space than it is true, okay? And I'll just preface by saying that if you can find concrete links supporting what I'm going to talk about, please post it in the comments below. Don't send me a link to her movie because I'm going to talk about that already. We're going to address it on this video. But what is coming out of this are, just ideas online that are circulating. And look, I'll say it, I'll admit it, that in the past, I have been guilty and irresponsible of posting bad information. So much so that I have really reflected, I have changed my ways, and I'm becoming more and more careful about the way that I post information online. Because we don't need to just, it's one thing to speculate on corroborated details. That's different, right? Where you have like a witness statement and then an event and someone saying this and they're all aligning where you can connect dots, right? That's a good grounds for corroboration. And, it is a zone of speculation, but it's different because you have details to connect the dots. But when it's outright saying that Anne Heche was working on producing a child T-word documentary, like this tweet says right here, Anne Heche was offed by the elites trying to silence her and her documentary on human T-wording. Anyone who saw that video of her on the gurney would agree. #MassAwakening, #human T-word, #Anne Heche video. And then in another tweet, someone basically kind of like regurgitating the same details, saying, I did not know that Anne Heche was working on a sex T-word documentary, WTF. Okay, so this is the reason why this absolutely drives me insane is because, first of all, human T-word is a very serious thing. To sensationalize it with a movie star who passed away and there's no corroborative evidence, there's no her announcing this project. So this is the difference between a documentary and a movie. Now, first of all, a documentary can come in different forms. It can be by audio, it can be by an entire piece like a video, or it can be broken up in segments like a docu-series. That's what they call them Now these pieces, they explore factual events and they kind of elaborate on the pieces to build up to the idea or topic or person at hand. A documentary is different from a movie. Now, a movie requires storyboarding, it requires casting, and movies that are based on real events are not the same thing as a documentary. Versus a documentary, it's more to the point, it's more clear cut, and it supports more of an idea or the retelling of events that happened. A movie utilizes actors and scripts, and sometimes even when movies, what I was going to get to, that are based on real life events are sometimes changed in order to fit a plot better or to fit the screenwrite better. So it's not always that just because it's based on real events, it's not really a direct retelling, because sometimes things are changed by, the director or the direction of the production. Okay. So with Anne Heche starring in A Girl in Room 13, she is an actor playing a role in a movie. This is not a documentary on human T-word. This is a retelling of events that are based on a true story, but it is completely different. So for people to circulate posts saying that this is a documentary and this is what she was going to do, automatically, and I'm going to tell you what I think when I hear something like that, I think, oh my gosh, she's in Hollywood. Her herself, she's been through, that type of the S word abuse when she was a child. I don't know that she was a child actor, but it's alleged that it was by her own father. So, she definitely could do something like that, if that was her plan, but there is nothing corroborating or supporting that she was making a documentary. This part just makes me absolutely crazy and insane to see so many people just blindly circulate this information online when there's nothing that she has done, either in interview, by witness statement, or by a relay by a friend or a family member saying that she was working on this project. Now, if there is, you guys can link that in my comment section below. Do not link the movie, because that is not what I'm talking about. Supported by this. This is her, and ironically, this is exactly what I'm talking about, because someone says that she was making a documentary in this post, and then once the video plays in this post, you can hear Anne Heche even say that she was acting in a movie. Take a look.
Welcome back, everybody. It is really nice to be sitting here in Heather's beautiful home. I was away for a little bit shooting a movie called Girl in the Motel, which was unbelievable. I don't often talk about my acting projects, let alone watch them, but this movie was called Girl in the Motel, and it's coming out in October on Lifetime, and it is a movie about the sex trafficking industry that is going on, which is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and it just is jaw-dropping. Is jaw-dropping of the horrors that really happens to our girls. And of course, that is something that goes along with everything we believe, which is abuse has to be eradicated. It's very, very important that we tell these stories. And so to have been, I play a mother whose daughter gets kidnapped and it's the journey of her going to rescue her child. It's based on a true story. It was grueling in the best of ways. I know you like when I get to dig in.
While you were working, I was at home.
Now, what can we say about Anne Heche? She did seemingly take on roles that might have not been agreeable with Hollywood. So, for instance, she did star in a movie called Toxic Skies that basically had something similar in alliance to the trails in the sky and it infecting people, with the sickness and stuff like that. So, that already is pretty much controversial. And then she takes on this role for the Human T-Word movie that based on true events. So that's another thing, right? But you can hear in that video that she recognized this the sex T-word world and how horrific it was. So could it be that she was maybe going to campaign against it? I could probably say lean more towards that than the unsupported, viral theory that she was going to make a documentary. Now, from there, could she have made a documentary? Absolutely. But it's not confirmed that she was actively working on that project. So she recognizes it. She experienced it. So like I mentioned in the very beginning, all of her details about her passing is very weird. First of all, she started off in stable condition. It was reported to People magazine exclusively, which you guys, already know the exclusiveness with certain media outlets. I already find that piece funny. A rep for the Emmy winner, which is Anne Heche, 53, exclusively tells People in a statement that Anne is currently in stable condition after the crash, which occurred in a neighborhood of Mar Vista. And this was reported August 6th, a day after the crash actually occurred. Okay. Now, that steeply plummeted into, and it was even reported by an ex-boyfriend. And now I'm not sure if this was the exclusive person that reported this to People, but this ex-boyfriend of hers actually reported to the Daily Mail that Anne is expected to pull through. And Heche's ex, Thomas Jane, reveals that the actress is in stable ICU after she drunkenly plowed through a house at 90 miles per hour and spent 30 minutes in a burning car before being rescued by 59 firefighters. Okay, so there's already some conflicting information here because it says that she drunkenly plowed. Now, there was no alcohol found in her blood coming out of the report from her crash. So now they did find, the C substance and the F substance in her, her system, but there was no alcohol out, coming out of that report. So do they mean drunkenly in the sense of her on substances? Maybe, but she didn't have any alcohol in her system. Now they are going to, what I foresee, try to spin this because she was photographed before taking off with what seemed to be photographed as a vodka bottle in her little console in her car. But I can foresee that that's how the media is going to try to spin this, maybe. So let's talk about some of this footage. What I already find strange, like I said, some of these media sources that exclusively get these, video captures and these statements, I already have red flags going off about that because especially when it's like especially when it's TMZ, and also with, with People magazine, these entertainment type of media publications. So TMZ actually obtained some of the first footage. It was new footage at the time of inside this charred garage where she allegedly crashed in. And, you can see that, and I can't play the video because TMZ loves to copyright people, so I'm not going to play the video. But they exclusively obtained this footage. Now let's talk about something else though. Let's talk about the details of the EMTs extracting Anne Heche from this accident. Let's take a look at this and I'll replay it and give you guys my commentary.
To what these guys are talking about. Oh, maybe they're bringing them out the other side. We just can't see it because, yes, they got them out the passenger side, thank God. And this is the first time we're going to see this victim. It doesn't look that good, but yeah, it does look terrible. And we'll just see if maybe they're just moving them out of there, or if they put them in an ambulance. That's some sort of sign, but yes. So basically the activity that we were looking for that
Okay, so initially when you see this first footage of one angle of the firefighters, wheeling what seems to be Anne Heche away from the accident site, it seems that she's coming out the passenger side or something because she's coming out the side, right? And that already seems a little bit weird. But the fact that they're also rushing her, to the emergency vehicle Now, what's already weird, what people are already pointing this out, is the fact that she is covered from top to bottom, even the face, in this white cloth. Now, a lot of people have said that this is not of protocol, that they should have not have stabilized her this way with the straps over her throat and her legs, and especially with the cloth over her face where she can't breathe. If that was the case, that she was already found passed, right? But what gets even more strange is this next footage of them wheeling her to the emergency vehicle, where, first of all, let me play the clip.
LA City Fire Department, their paramedics pulled that driver from that vehicle. We have tape of that, and then basically had him on a gurney. We weren't sure what the situation was there on his condition, but then as he made his way over to the ambulance, you see it right there, he jumps up out of that gurney. It was horrific, scary for a moment for everybody watching. And then the fire department, well, they had to sedate him and take him to the hospital. Right now, though, the structure is still standing. No other victims inside that home. But again, this happening out here in Palms this afternoon. Crazy thing to see for sure. But again, that no other injuries, and that driver now in the hospital. I'm Stu up in Sky Fox. Back to you guys in the studio.
Also notice that her hair isn't burned either. So, all of these details, just keep note, just in case the media does try to spin this. But you guys clearly see this with your own eyes. You don't need, additional fabricated details. Look at it for what it is. Also, what's very interesting is that the news reporter, whoever was commenting on this crash site, he stated that she needed to be sedated.
And then the fire department, well, they had to sedate him and take him to the hospital.
As somebody who has experienced the ambulance, is it protocol that a person is sedated before being fully assessed? Again, that is a question for my professionals in the comments below. Please do educate me. The next thing is her entering the ambulance vehicle, where it seems to be she does seem to have soot on her body. It does seem to be that she's covered in ash of some sort, but it doesn't seem that she is we can't see the front part, but the back part, from what we can tell, there are no burn marks. There are no visible implications on her of her being maimed in this crash. And the most troubling part of all of this, and it is absolutely creepy, is the part where she is popping off through the cloth, through the gurney and the straps to try. And I don't know if this is an adrenaline rush. I don't think it is. And she seems to be like panicked and trying to escape this situation. This is my personal opinion. I don't know what this is. Like, again, if you are a medical professional, if you are an EMT, if this is something that can be explained, please educate me in the comments, because this seems very bizarre. Another thing that's been notable is the fact that there are no skid marks on the street, okay? And I think that this is going to be a little bit more corroborated by the Ring camera footage, or the surveillance footage that has been pretty much published by different neighbors who live in the nearby homes. Now, when you see this footage, you can see that Anne Heche is in this blue Mini Cooper, and it doesn't seem like there are any brakes or any attempts to brake whatsoever. Now, I don't know about you, but maybe someone who has even been in a car, I don't know if she was passed out when this happened, and that's why that explains that there's no brakes. But if she's passed out, can you also be passed out and your foot is so heavy that it's on the gas pedal? I don't know this, but this is what makes everything so weird, because she is just zooming through high speed through this residential neighborhood, and there doesn't seem to be any evidence of her trying to brake. Take a look at this.
A business owner in Venice also telling us the actress visited his store moments before the crash. Richard Glass says Heche was shopping for a wig and acting like, quote, a sweet little girl.
I was just so taken aback, and I was like, what happened? Because she didn't, like I said, she didn't seem impaired to me.
Now, here is a comment that is really notable on the news footage. This is from Dan Singer, who says, here are my thoughts. Take them as you will. A former firefighter / EMT, even if they determined she wasn't going to survive, there's always a chance of organ donation. They would have or should have had her totally immobilized, neck protection / cervical collar, IV therapy, oxygen therapy, heart monitor, and more. They had none of that. Your body needs to be treated like they are trying to save you, no matter how grave the condition. Minutes and seconds are the difference between salvageable organs or not. And obviously, this is a great pivot because Anne Heche was allegedly an organ donor because they actually declared, this is very like weird, ominous detail coming from TMZ because they actually put her on life support when it seemed to be she was in stable condition, and then not all of a sudden not in stable condition, where she was on life support eventually. And it says here, it's a very short article. I'm just going to read you what TMZ reports. Once again, you know how I feel about TMZ by now, but they say Anne Heche will be taken off of life support Sunday. TMZ has learned. Yes, TMZ has learned, because organ recipients have been identified, and surgeons are ready to remove and then implant. Organ donations are considered to be one of the most sacred forms of medical procedures. That's a weird way to word that. I'm going to read it again. Organ donations are considered to be one of the most sacred forms of medical procedures. Okay. Doctors treat organ donor with reverence and respect, even though they are not aware of the procedure. Did they treat Anne Heche with reverence and respect in the stretcher? You know, taken from that EMT / firefighter, that former EMT firefighter that made that comment on the video. He has a great point. Like, you treat a patient as if they are salvageable, as if you are trying to save their life. The way that they strapped in Anne Heche with the cloth over her face and top to bottom as if it looked like a body bag is not a way to treat somebody with reverence and respect. That's already determining that she was gone, right? And that's where my speculation comes in. You know, is this something that they were already trying to deem until she popped out of the bag and the cloth, and they were like, oh crap, now we have to give it some time and kind of give a believable excuse for people to believe that she has passed, right? So anyway, we're told that Anne will be taken off of life support early Sunday afternoon, after which the procedure will begin. Sources connected with Anne confirmed to TMZ multiple organs will be transplanted, although they choose not to reveal specifics. And that this is the thing, Anne was declared brain dead Friday, which in California means the person has passed, despite the fact that she remained on life support with a beating heart, so her organs would remain strong. That's an interesting fact that she was declared brain dead on Friday, which by California law, I guess, or by specifications, it means that the person has passed by California, regulations or whatever. And despite the fact that she remained on life support while a beating heart, so her organs would remain strong. Did they treat her this same way when she was on that stretcher is my question. Just a little detail here of just because it's related. So Ellen DeGeneres and Anne Heche dated in the 90s, in which, they broke up, I believe, in 2000. But Ellen DeGeneres actually posted this tweet, basically giving her condolences for Anne Heche and her family, all that. But I find it really peculiar that she gave a really cold response when one of the paparazzis asked her about her thoughts on Anne Heche and if she talked to Anne Heche. Take a look at this.
Hey Ellen, how are you, darling? Have you spoken to Anne Heche at all since her accident?
Have not.
Do you want to...
We're not in touch with each other, so I wouldn't know.
Oh, do you want to send her any well wishes?
Sure. I don't want anyone to be hurt.
Yeah, it's quite a dangerous accident that happened, wasn't it?
Sure was.
Thank you, Ellen. Cheers, darling.
So this just came in literally as I was wrapping up the filming of this video, where E! News has reported Anne Heche's cause of death revealed. Keep in mind that this lady was in stable condition in the ICU, and it seemed to be that her family members, her ex-boyfriend said that she seemed to be pulling through. Okay, so what did they witness that completely was different from what it turned into? So this is what E! News says. It says that per the coroner's office, other significant conditions that contributed to her death included a sternal fracture due to blunt trauma. So again, how does that fit in with everything that we just went over, where she was in stable condition, her friends, her family, her ex-boyfriend were basically like, and I want to know where like because her husband actually did make a statement, grieving about all of this, but why was it that there was an exclusive rep for Anne Heche and not her husband? Why was it that it was her ex-boyfriend? That they both said that it was that she was in stable condition and it looked like she was going to pull through, and now it's being found that she had a sternal fracture due to blunt trauma. Would they not have already diagnosed that when she was in stable condition, right? Like, all of this is just, it doesn't make any sense, and the order that it's happening doesn't make sense either. So guys, with this new update, with everything that I went through, especially you all that are medical professionals, EMTs, firefighters, or former, please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you so much for supporting this channel. Thank you for loving. Please like, share, subscribe, especially share this by word of mouth in your chat groups, in your Facebook groups, whatever you go by, because I definitely appreciate the word of mouth as we need to boost this algorithm. I love you guys. I'll catch you in the next video. Okay, bye.